All right, good morning. So this is your bell ringer answer from Thursday's bell ringer activity. You had a question about the concepts of nation, nation state, and state. And you were given several different countries as examples. Here's the deal with this particular type of question. It's impossible for us to know every single nation state, every single state out there and make you experts on them. Instead, what we're trying to do is get you to recognize some key examples and to also see how the patterns kind of tend to repeat themselves. So, the chart isn't something we want you to fill out every single space with. This is more of just trying to get you to get your ideas going, to start practicing some of these concepts. And so remember that a nation is a group of people with a shared identity. Do we see the idea of nation with Palestine? Yes. Very obviously, we see Palestinians as a nation. Now, are they a state? If you ask the Palestinians, yes, there is a Palestinian state, a Palestinian territory, but in the classic understanding, do they have sovereignty? No. So with Palestinians, do we see them as being a state? Well, there is a Palestinian region, but they are definitely not a true sovereign state. Are they a nation state? No. If they don't have their own territory, then they're not going to be a nation state. In fact, as you go down this list, you're going to find that the classic nation state is a lot harder to find. All right, Canada, idea of a nation, a group of people with a shared identity. There's some national identity there, definitely strong nationalism. Are they a state? Yes. Canada, definitely a state, owns its own territory. Are they a classic nation state? Canada, like the United States, has a tremendous amount of immigration. Does everybody in Canada have the same identity? Probably not. I would not use Canada as an example of a nation state because you have difficulty making the classic nation argument. Israel. Characteristics of a nation. Are they a group of people with a shared identity? Yeah, pretty good. Okay. Are they a state? Yes, they have their own territory. Are they a nation state? Well, now here's the deal with the Israeli nation state idea. Works pretty well, except for the fact that the Israeli nation state includes Palestinians who are not going to buy into the same nation state idea. So a little problematic here. Probably wouldn't use that as an example in the AP exam. All right, the Basques, are they a nation? Definitely. Group of people with a shared identity, have their own language, have their own history. Definitely would be a nation. Are they a state? No. They're a semi-autonomous region within Spain. And France. They do not have their own actual territory, and so therefore they are not a nation state. They would be a stateless nation. All right. How about Denmark? Ooh, now this is an interesting one. Nation. Yeah, there is a Danish national identity for certain. It's what has helped keep them separate from other larger countries in Europe. Are they a state? Yes, they definitely possess their own territory on Jutland. Are they a nation state? Of the groups you've got here, they are the best example of a nation state. So their territory, Denmark, matches up with their national identity of a Danish population. So yeah, they're the best example of a nation state out there. All right, Chechnya. Chechnya is a tiny region that is still technically part of Russia. So do they have a national identity? Yes. Definitely their own national identity. Do they have their own state? Well, there is a Chechen state, but it isn't a sovereign state. It's part of Russia, so they are not a state. They do not have their own territory. So therefore, they're not a nation state. Like the Basques, Chechens are a stateless nation. I would file them away. They're a good one to keep in mind. Ukraine. Okay, here's the problem with Ukrainians. Ukrainian nationalism is mostly defined using the concept of identifying against. A lot of what's making the modern day state of Ukraine seem like a nation is their opposition to Russian control and Russian influence. So are they really a nation? It's hard to say. You've got a lot of different languages, a lot of different linguistic characteristics. Now, are they a state? Yes. They are definitely a state. They have their own territory. It has its own established borders. Now, some of those borders are contested, but they have their own borders. Are they a nation state? If it's problematic to call you a nation, then it's probably impossible to call you a nation state. Remember, the classic definition of a nation state needs that homogeneity, that really strong focus on groups belonging together. Okay, so I hope that helped you out a little bit understanding those concepts. Don't forget that you have an AP classroom assignment due on Monday. If you don't want that hanging over your head during the weekend, feel free to go ahead and knock that thing out. Multiple choice and free response, 2 separate assignments. Make sure you get those done. So have a good weekend. Try not to do anything stupid.